In the chaos of the game, they break it down. Talking trash, cracking jokes, they own this town. PGN Podcast, they're on the prowl. Sports and nonsense, they wears a crown. PGN Podcast, oh, you can't look away. Stats and laughs, yeah, they sing your day. From the field to the mic, they always slay. PGN Podcast, here now.
What up? What up? Oh, hold on. We got Kofi back in the building. This is crazy. First episode back. First episode back after the Knicks championship. I know he was happy somewhat. You're a Knicks fan or you're a Nets fan?
No, I'm a Nets fan.
Oh man, so you were half and half.
Not
you were
really.
half and half, right?
I mean, I was happy for my my colleagues and stuff, but
yeah.
But
How were they acting?
they were actually, so I'm not gonna say where I work at specifically, but there was like a montage of videos of reactions of people in the office, and some of them who were working that day. Their reactions were part of that video package, and I was like, so it was great to see that. So
yeah, dope. That's what Zaza was saying. He was like, I'm mad myself they won, but I'm happy that seeing my friends happy, right, jumping around. But yeah, man, back PGN Podcast episode 127 on this beautiful Sunday. Real quick, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. We'll get into it at the end of the show, more about that. But yeah, how was your guys' weeks this week?
So if you go first.
I mean, it was all right. I mean, it was the first real week I wasn't working for a while, so I got to relax a little bit, and just I got to relax, enjoy the weather, got to the gym, so me, I live a pretty playing life, obviously. Saw St. Za, watched some World Cup games on Friday, so but other than that, nothing much. The only trouble I have right now is I want to do the podcast on my laptop because it's easier. So, with my phone, I could do other stuff with it, but it's kind of slow. Probably need a new one at some point, but other than that, we've been fine.
Word. What about you, Zaza?
This was a fun, crazy, bittersweet week. As you guys, I know you guys saw, it was my kids' graduation. It was actually the first group I've worked with. Well, since 2021, they graduated high school. Good Lord. They did something for the kids after they graduated. They called Midnight Madness, where they take the kids' phones and they send them on a location for 4 hours. So they went to Iron Peak in Hillsborough. It's like kind of like a funplex, kind of like arcade games, basketball, volleyball. They had like the bull roadie, but like it was crazy because when we were driving through South Orange, parents were literally outside with like waivers and mini fireworks. I was like, only South Orange parents could have money for this. Like I mean, little mini fireworks. Like, yo, they're literally outside on South Orange Ave waving the buses, and there were like 12 buses. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
so besides that, end of the school year, so school ended on Thursday, so just gonna be a little quiet week before I have to do summer school.
Nice. Week, same thing. Work, went to the gym, went to a comedy show Thursday. New age comedian. Forgot his name. My sister got it for me for Father's Day. But yeah, I just want to say comedy's different now, man. There's a lot of crowd work. All these new guys do. No more jokes. He had like 2 jokes. He did a bunch of crowd work the whole. It was an hour and a half because he was the main guy, so he went an hour and a half. So it was about like a 2.5 hour show. Like he went an hour and a half. The workers there, I went to the bathroom. They were like, "Bro, I thought comedy shows were an hour. I'm trying to go the fuck home." It was an NJ Pack, and I'm like, "Bro, these new age comedians do crowd work. They freestyle the whole show." So he brought his girl out and everything, and then they were just like freestyling on stage, like bullshitting with each other. It was like, dude, because I said, because I told him, I was like, you guys are probably used to old school comedians. They do an hour set and that's it. They're done. It's cut. You know, they're in and out. So they were like, yes, it's crazy. But yeah, man, it was cool. I had fun with the person I was with, but I don't know, man. I don't know how. I like comedy a lot, so to fucking see how the new age comedians work was kind of like, it's like crowd work is like easy, dude. It's like it's harder to actually create a joke, write it out, and then like deliver it well too, because the joke could be good, but if it's not delivered, the timing's not right, the joke could suck. And even now, like I saw an interview recently with because I watched Cameron's show Talk with Flea, and they had Corey Holcomb on, and Corey Holcomb was like, dude, if you're not constantly doing it, like he saw Martin Lawrence recently on his own podcast and said that he was garbage, and everybody came at him for it, like, yo, wait, this is Martin Lawrence, he's a legend, da 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 da. And he explained it on Cam show. He's like, dude, it ain't a diss to Martin. It just he's so rich now, he's not doing it anymore. Like he's not. So like he's hitting the circuit probably without no practice, and it just looks horrible. And that's somebody who's a fucking legend, Martin. Like, come on, that guy's a fucking stand-up comedian. His was it You So Crazy? Fucking special is a classic. You know what I mean? So if you're not putting in the work, man, you know, I don't know how you could. But I mean, maybe these new kids find it funny. You know, they watch these kids now on TikTok and stuff like that. So they're fans from them off social media. So I guess they enjoy that crowd work shit. But I don't know. I guess I enjoy more creativeness. But that's how my week was real quick. So let's get into these topics.
All right. Topic number one. Obviously, Scumbag, as you know, your team won the NBA championship last week. So now we're in the NBA offseason. So I wanted to make this topic to say what are the expectations for most of the teams coming in to the offseason. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. Obviously, that's the conference of the champion as of right now. So for me, I would say the teams to watch are both Miami and Boston. And the reason for that is St. Zah's favorite player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors going around where he might be going. Those are the teams that are most likely to get him. So I think for me, it's like, even if one of these teams get Giannis, I don't think it makes them a contender right away, in my opinion. If you're looking for Miami, you're going to trade most of your roster. You're only going to have Bam and Giannis, and then you're going to probably have to go to free agency, see who you can get left in terms of, I don't know how the cap situation will be after if they get Giannis. Same thing with Boston. Obviously, Jaylen Brown will probably be the likely player to go out from Boston to whether it's a 3-team with some other team going to get Jaylen Brown or not. So, but in any event, if either of those teams get Giannis, I'm not sure that it makes them better than the team that won the NBA championship, in my opinion. We've seen in the last couple of years, it takes depth to win. You need at least a 10-man rotation to win. And I don't know if getting Giannis is going to make either Boston or Miami ahead of whoever won the championship. So I look at that. Obviously, Atlanta, they're a young team. CJ McCollum, if that's your number one, I don't know if you're going to go very far. We saw it in the playoffs. So obviously, they need to find out if they could get maybe a couple more players, whether it's through the draft or free agency. Indiana, obviously, Halliburton will be back. They should be a confident team. They're the last team to beat the defending champions in the playoff series. So obviously, they shouldn't be scared of playing that team once again. The Zubac trade, we'll see how that works. Obviously, they took gamble that trade. Remember, they had a lottery pick and they gave it away. They tried to double dip and it backfired on them. So we'll see how they come about. Is there a new team that will emerge? Will it be Charlotte? Will it be Washington with the number one pick? So those are my thoughts on the Eastern Conference. I still think the team that won the NBA championship is the favorite in the East, but obviously a lot can change with Giannis. Obviously, they have their free agents to worry about as well, if they could re-sign them or not. So those are my thoughts on the Eastern Conference. St. Zah, what are your thoughts on in the Eastern Conference? What's going to happen now in the offseason?
I want the Giannis sweepstakes to end immediately. I don't care about where Giannis goes. Like, yo, this whole and then Giannis, I don't want to leave Milwaukee. I want to leave Milwaukee. I don't want to leave Milwaukee. I'm like, bro, either be the villain or get the fuck off my screen. I don't want to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. If he goes to the Heat, like you said, the Heat, and we talked about this offline on Friday, the Heat are not a good built team because you're going to let up too many pieces to have him. What is with this love with Tyler Hero? I don't get the love for Tyler Hero. I don't get. He's like the ultimate asset. They're like, yo, we don't want to trade Tyler Hero. You can get Giannis out of anywhere. Trade that motherfucker now. It's the same thing the Lakers had the problem with Austin Reeves. You had the chance to get Kyrie, but we don't want to give Austin Reeves. Now Austin Reeves is on the market and he might leave anyway. So you should have just got rid of him from the jump. The Hawks, I don't. They're really young. They're relying too much on CJ, and they don't have any bigs. That's what hurt them against the Knicks. The Sixers are going to have to make a major decision. If this is Tyrese Maxey's team, or do you want Embiid? Embiid has been hurt way too much, and he's too expensive. You have to make a move. If you want to make a run, you have to start building around Tyrese Maxey. And the Cavs, I got nothing to say about them. They deserve everything they get because once you were like, oh, we're going to do it again, I got nothing to say to you, but good job. Good job. The Pacers, they'll be all right. They're a good team. They gave the Knicks trouble. They just need to worry about that lottery pick. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them. But those are the top teams I'm actually worried about. And that's all I have to say about the East.
All right, let's come back. What are your thoughts on the East?
All right, so I got the trade here. Oh no, I have it. I'm gonna say what I sent you guys yesterday. I just had it. I just fucking.
Remember, this is the rumored package. It's not.
This is the rumor. It's not a guaranteed. What they're saying is supposedly, that definitely the Heat, Pistons, and Bucks are involved. That's like the big rumor. The Lakers being involved in this trade is coming in kind of last minute because the Lakers want Miles Turner. The Lakers want a center. You know what I mean? So if this trade goes through, so what they're saying definitely is that Giannis and Bobby Portis are going to go to Miami. And Tyler Hero's going to Pistons. They're getting a guy, Jake LaRavia. I don't know who he is that much.
He's from the Lakers.
Yeah. So the Lakers aren't involved. They'll just get Tyler Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miles Turner. I don't know if they get Miles Turner, but it's the Lakers get Miles Turner, and the Bucks get a bunch of picks and a bunch of role players. So I don't know what that does much for the Bucks, but or for the Lakers. I think Miles Turner adds something to the Lakers if that trade goes through, definitely. But he's an outside shooter to me more than anything than the guys in the paint. But he does play good defense and he gets rebounds. I mean, he's definitely an upgrade from fucking DeAndre Ayton. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? So yeah. So if that goes down, it definitely helps the Lakers. But yeah, I know you say you don't like Tyler Hero that much. You don't see the big to do with him. He's not a great defender. But what the Pistons don't have a problem on defense. They have a problem on offense. The issue is Cade Cunningham he's a bona fide star. We can't say that about, nothing bad about Cade. I mean, he almost had an MVP season this year if he didn't get hurt. I mean, he kind of faltered a little bit in the playoffs, but it's kind of granted when he's not have any help on offense. You know what I mean? They literally had to have Miles, I think, what's his name? Miles Jenkins, or I don't know his first name. But Jenkins is like their top scorer off the bench. They had to start starting him in the Cavs series just to get some offense going. So I just think that Tyler Hero brings that extra offense. Now you got Tyler Hero with Duncan Robinson, Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris. That's a good starting five right there, to me. And, Tyler Hero has hit some big shots for the Heat. You know what I mean? He's not a number one scorer, so I think that kind of maybe makes him look of a less of a guy. Where you're seeing it, Zaza, where it's like, what's the big to do with him when he was like the main scorer? He really didn't put him over the hump. But if you put him along Cade and those players, and he just got to kind of be a scorer and not do not much, I think that's a problem, especially for the Knicks. I want them to repeat. That's tough.
Hold on, I finally got my laptop to work, so I'm gonna step off and then boom.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think that makes them tougher for the Knicks, and then I think Giannis and Bobby Portis. I think them going to the, if the Lakers are involved, they get Giannis, Bobby Portis, and Dalton Connect. Um, you know, I think that's Hold on, I think Kofi's back.
All right.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think if the Heat actually get Dalton Connect, and they get Bobby Portis with Giannis, I think that makes the Heat really, really good. Because one thing with the Heat, they take these no-name players. Like, who was that guy Mitchell that was lighting the Hornets up in that playing game? Who the fuck was that guy? He dropped like almost 30 something points.
He was
You
good. He was
know?
good last year because I remember in the playing
Yeah.
last year. I think the Hawks. He was good in that game too.
Yeah, he was good at. I know to me that what the Heat do, like they Gabe Vincent. What has he done on the Lakers? But Gabe Vincent on the fucking Heat on that playoff run was a fucking murderer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if they get someone like Dalton Connect who gets no playing time with the Lakers, I think he could be a huge asset to them. And we know Bobby Portis, he's a great player. And forget it, Giannis, with Bam and Norman Powell, that's a good starting five. And me with the Heat, the way they coach, they could just put whoever on the bench and they'll do something. They'll draft the guy. Like look at like in the trade, right? They have that Jokic guy. He's been good for them. Khalil Ware's been good for them. Like, they find these guys. So if they could just package that deal, if they make that deal happen, I do think the Heat become immediate contenders. And also
You're not worried about the depth. I'm concerned about the depth. That's the thing. I mean, we've seen, if you don't have the depth, you're not going to win. Like we saw with your team, teams that just aren't deep enough, like the Sixers, they just struggle. So
yeah, and the Knicks depth is the one in the championship. It was the bench was effective while Brunson got his rest and Cat got there. And look, Cat being in foul trouble, and then Mitchell Robinson, if he got in foul trouble, we still had Huckleporty to throw in. Like, fuck it. He's still a big guy, a big body, So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Too. So
Yeah. So you're absolutely right about that. Like I said, I think the Heat could have the depth. I think the Pistons already have the depth. If they just get rid of they're gonna in the trade, they'll get rid of Isaiah Stewart and somebody else. Like they ain't like big guys that
I think Ron Holland was mentioned. Yeah, I think Ron Holland.
Yeah. He barely played in the thing, And they found that guy. What was that guy off the bench that they found at the end of the Cavs series?
Junkins, I think.
Out of nowhere he came. That's a guy they can start using next year. So, and like I said, with the Heat just find guys, bro. They'll draft some guy from fucking Wisconsin State or some shit, and he'll fucking immediately start producing for them. Like the Heat they got a good system over there. They play tough. Who knows what happens in these playoffs if Bam don't get hurt and they pass the Hornets and they end up in the playoffs. Let's say they're the 7th, 8th seed. They might make some noise. We don't know. You know what I mean? They're just a good team as it is. If you add Giannis, I mean, I know Giannis had an off year this year, you could say, but the dude still averaged 27 points a game, 11 rebounds. Like, he's just a beast. One of the most dominant players in the league, one of the most dominant players of all time. And you put him with Bam and Norman Powell. Yeah, that's serious. So, as far as the West, I don't think the West will do too much. I think there's no rumors of Chet being moved. They most likely going to try and run it back because the way they look at it is, hey, if we had AJ Mitchell,
if they didn't get hurt, I think they would have beat the Spurs. That's my opinion.
That's how they look at it. So they feel like if they don't have the injuries, they move on. So I don't know if they'll do too much. Maybe the Spurs will move on from De'Aaron Fox, but rumors are they're not. Because De'Aaron Fox is a really good player. You know what I'm saying? He may have had a bad finals. But, I think the Spurs maybe attest that to it was the Knicks. The Knicks literally went on a 16-3, probably the best playoff run in NBA history. We got to stop having this narrative where, they faced the easy schedule. No, they made it look easy. Because if you look at the numbers, it's ridiculous what the Knicks were doing. The point differential and the way they won, beating teams by 50 points, it was just the Spurs ran into the wrong team, and that's probably how the Spurs are looking at it. Like, we just ran into the wrong team at the wrong time, and now we got the experience. You know what I mean? Now we got the experience, and maybe now we'll do things different if we get there again next year. So I don't see the West moving around too much as far as pieces. And the favorites coming out the West are probably going to be the Thunder or the Spurs again.
Yep.
From what we're looking at, maybe the Nuggets
I do
do
want to
something.
see what the Lakers do. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's talks about LeBron coming back. Obviously,
Yeah.
signing Russell Reeves back. I hope they do that because I don't want him in the Nets. I'll be honest about that. So, the Nuggets have to clear salary because they're in the apron, so they're probably done. Minnesota, they're trying to re-sign Sumu, and obviously they're trying to move Randall. We'll see if they can do that. So
Yeah, they're gonna try and move Randall. Rumors are that they're gonna try and move Dante. They said they're gonna try and move Dante.
yeah, they're gonna package
supposedly.
him and Randall together. That's the rumor.
Yeah, they're gonna try and do something like that. Or they said if they can't find no one to trade for Dante, they're gonna buy his contract out. Because in reality,
He's probably not gonna play
think-
next year. He's probably not gonna play
yeah,
next year.
I think in reality, the narrative around the league is that I think a lot of teams are gonna try and let Dante kind of go back to the Knicks. They're gonna try and kind of make that pathway for him because I know Dante was hurting watching them win that championship this year because he was just on the team. You know what I mean? And if he would have won it with his friends, you know, that would have been crazy. We're the one team that could afford to get him and have him sit for a year and not play him. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Jalen Brunson would want to do another run at the chip with Dante there. So that could be something that happens too. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know the Knicks are gonna make something happen because we have a lot of free agents. Mitch is a free agent. Diawara is a free agent. Sham is a free agent.
People like, hey, people might sign to offer sheet. So
Clark's is a free agent. So you might see a whole new bench next year for the Knicks.
Yeah.
The Knicks might even, it might be a chance. The Knicks might even let Mitch walk. Like, you know what? Make it $25 million. We'll take that cap space, and maybe we'll pay off the guys we have now. We'll give, Cat a bigger contract. We'll give, Brunson a little bit of a bigger contract. Maybe we sign another backup center. We bring somebody in on a minimum or something. I think their bench is going to look different. The core won't. The starting five will be the starting five, but the bench will most likely look a little different for the Knicks next year. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we repeat, man. We'll see.
So, any thoughts on the West?
For the Spurs, they have to get a different bench. Their bench killed them in the finals. You can't play Luke Cornett because, one, he's flat-footed and he can't defend. You're going to have to do something with that. And I know Dylan Harper wants to come off. He wants to start, but once again, that's going to kill your bench because it's like you can't bench DeAndre Fox. You can't. There's so many things they need to do to get back to where they were because when you put Luke Cornett in, the Knicks will go on a run and you got to take him out. You gotta get a better center. You gotta get a better backup center. Someone who can actually do the dirty work and is somewhat athletic because Luke Cornett was not it. It was not it. The Thunder, they're gonna lose some pieces too, but I think they'll still be fine as long as they keep their core. The Lakers, we do this thing with the Lakers every year where they got someone, LeBron's not coming back, Russell Reed's not coming back. When they make their move, I'll have more to say on them. But until then, they're still the Lakers. The team I'm looking at now is the Nuggets. What do you do? Because you got to, like, this whole Denver Nuggets team, I think that window's closed. Jamal Murray, Jokic, I think that duo has reached their limit. I don't know where they go from here. You got to start making some decisions. Same thing with the Timberwolves. There's a team that they're just there. They make the playoffs every year, but the Randall, you don't have a really good second option. I think the Wolves might have to do a little bit of reconstruction. So that's what I got to say about the West.
Word.
All right, I guess we'll move on to the next topic. the World Cup again. It's been something. It's been crazy to see. It's not even just the games itself, and the games have been great, but it's just been the whole atmosphere. You're seeing all these countries coming together. They're in different parts of the world, whether it's Boston or Atlanta or New York, and you're just seeing all the different cultures, just enjoying the American experience. And it's great to see. You know, we talk about all the issues with America, and we have on the podcast, but at its core, at its best, this country is a melting pot of different cultures, different people coming together and just enjoying themselves. And that's been the great experience of the World Cup. And obviously, the topic I had on it was about the stadiums. And it's just crazy to see how these stadiums will look and the people's reactions. There was a tweet about MetLife Stadium is beautiful. Everybody's like, what? MetLife beautiful? You know, people, MetLife's probably considered one of the worst modern stadiums.
I know.
In this
Yeah.
It just shows you how, you know, we might think MetLife's not that great, but a foreigner looks at MetLife, oh my goodness, look at this stadium. And think about it. In my opinion, the best looking stadium is US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And it is not even hosting the World Cup. So imagine the reaction if that had hosted a World Cup game. It'd be crazy. So it really just shows you that we have the infrastructure to host events like this. And just how America is in terms of, you know, cuisine and all that stuff, and people get to experience it. So it's like, you know, our country has its problems. We all know that, but at its core, it's a great place for many rich people and cultures to come together and enjoy their time. So I'm glad people from different countries are experiencing the real American experience, not the one that people tell you or whatever propaganda other sides say about America. But the World Cup is really showing you that America is still a great place to experience a lot of great things. So those are my thoughts on that topic. Scumbag McGee, what are your thoughts on just the whole atmosphere of the World Cup and how different countries have come together and really enjoy the American experience?
Yeah. So I went out Wednesday by myself, which I do a lot. I go out by myself and eat and shit like that. So I went to a bar, got chilled a little bit, and Colombia was playing. Wednesday, the place was packed. So it was dope. Everybody had the Colombia jerseys there. I just had on a fucking Marvel shirt, so I was like out of place. But yeah, it was dope. It was a good game. Colombia, I think, won 3-1. So they were going crazy in there. The music was fucking blasting. So it's good to be around that shit. And Thursday after the comedy show, I went to a spot called Agave here in Belleville, and it was Mexico playing, packed, wall to wall. Everybody was in there on a Thursday. So it's dope to see that stuff. Like, even though I saw a report recently that the tourism is actually underwhelming in the New Jersey, New York area. I don't know, maybe it's too expensive for them to stay over there or be around here. Maybe they looked at it and say, you know what, I'd rather buy a ticket in Atlanta, rather buy a ticket in Texas or Boston, wherever the other places are at. You can still experience the games and it's not as expensive. But yeah, at least the locals around here, they're packing the bars up. So it's dope to see that. And it's dope to see the tourists come over here and, you know, they're trying the food and they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. What is this shit? Oh, you know, it's dope to see that. I've seen some soccer fights, which you're going to expect in soccer. People are going to fight. It happens all the fucking time. But I've actually seen it be at a real minimum. What we're more seeing is people coming together, you know, countries are coming over here deep with their fucking. They just showed, I think you said that, right, Kofi, in the chat? The people wearing blue. What country that was?
They were in Inglewood,
yeah.
They were in Inglewood in the middle of the fucking hood, walking with all blue on, fucking jumping up and down. No one bothered them. You know what I mean? So that's dope. You know what I mean? Like, not like anybody wanted their trip, but like, yo, cuz, yo, you can't be doing that out here. They were like, they don't know. Fuck it, let them have their fun. You know what I mean? So that's dope to see. And it's good to experience other cultures. I'm pretty sure not everything's being posted where, you know, people in America are meeting foreigners and they're probably drinking with them and chilling with them and jumping with them and having fun. So I think that's fire that they actually came here. Like you said, Kofi, the stereotypes that countries probably come over here and they're like, oh man, this is not what the propaganda is saying, you know? Because I've heard people who've left the country and go over there and they're like, "Man, how's your country when the cops will just keep shooting you guys over and over?" They're like, "Huh?" Like, there's just seeing the videos. They're like, "Man, cops just over there killing everybody." You know what I mean? It's like it don't happen that often. You know what I mean? Like, so it's good for them to come over here and see that not every cop is a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? So that's dope.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that in our paper takes for sure. So.
Yeah.
What I love about this is that it's just showing that anti-American propaganda that damn, America is so much fun. Like, bro, like Twitter, people are joking, like we're saying F kangaroos and the Australians aren't like no one was really mad about it. They were joking back and forth, man. I was seeing some people dancing with like Americans. Like this is one thing about the world in general. We could be divided on everything, but sports will always bring us together. Sports brings everyone together. Everyone is enjoying what the hell is going on. And I think we've all kind of put all the world issues, all that stuff aside to come together to watch some sports. And I love that shit for everyone, man. Like I'm seeing so many people are finding out about different cultures. People are finding out about different forms of life. Like you got the British people telling them how they live. This is what sports is about. Yo, sitting there watching the fucking game with another person and learning about that motherfucker. I don't even know that motherfucker's name, but I'm learning about it. Yo, shout out to the World Cup. I hope they do this again. This is actually beautiful. I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go to Pepper Takes, word from our sponsors, Saints,
Thank you once again for Nickel Pass for sponsoring us today. You can get all your newspaper content with a simple download of Nickel Pass for a reasonable price of $19.99. Download Nickel Pass today.
Now, unfortunately for this first Pepper Take, it has to be a little somber here, unfortunately. Obviously, this story is pretty a nuanced one and a sad one is for the most part. So a lady in the Los Angeles area named Marie, she was celebrating the Knicks championship win in her apartment. Her neighbor was coming back from, I guess, from the park. She heard some noises. She tried to contact the lady. She tried to, contact her some way. And then she called the cops. She directed the cops to her apartment complex. They came in. They were wondering what the noise was, the yelling was about. Her dog was with her. She tried to move her dog away. And then as she was talking to her, the dog came out. And then one of the cops unfortunately shot the dog 4 times. And obviously the dog passed away as a result. And we've seen the video of her crying as her dog's laying there dead, as the officers, the LAPD just looking. They don't know what they're doing. They're just looking. They're just talking. They're not really doing anything. So obviously the reaction has been very, very negative towards the LAPD. And my thoughts are, I'll leave the neighbor aside to the first part. The first part is about the cops. Obviously, the LAPD has a bad reputation. We've known this for decades. So obviously, I read an article saying that one of the cops was like, oh, I don't want to get bit by this dog. One of them was like, oh, keep the dog away. So obviously, right off the bat, you could tell just based off the tone from the LAPD that something bad was going to happen, just based off of that. This is just a situation where it's just, I'm not going to go into a whole about reforming the police, but my thing is, let's just, in terms of situations, just have a clear, not just clear, but just have a nuanced thought on how to handle situations. I feel like the cops, a lot of situations, it's just like, if they feel threatened, they're just going to shoot. It doesn't matter if the situation is violent or not. If they feel threatened anyway, they're just going to shoot. And I just feel like that's not the way to do it. It should be like, all right, okay, so we get disturbance. We get called by disturbance. Let's talk to whoever this person Marie is. Let's see what's going on. You just be okay. She's just yelling about the next one in the championship. Okay, so it's not a big deal. We just talk to her, say, hey, just calm down, and then move on. It shouldn't be, as soon as the dog starts barking, we shoot. That shouldn't be how it should be. And I saw the mayor of LA saying that we're going to look into this. It's just a situation, in my opinion, it just has to be a better mindset. There's just a better control of how the police handle situations. If it's a violent situation, obviously, if you had to take the gun out, it is what it is. But if it's a situation like this, or if it's a situation where it's like mental health, obviously a mental health issue, there has to be a little more just a care, like just like a process in terms of, hey, let's be methodical and slow about the process. Let's not just go from 0 to 100 quick. So those are my thoughts in terms of the police aspect of it. Saints out. What are your thoughts on LAPD, obviously, in this situation? How they handle it?
I just feel terrible for the fan, the lady who got a dog shot, because, like you said, even before they even got there, he was nervous, but he pulled out his gun before they even knocked on the damn door. I was like, dude, so you already came in there with like, yo, if this goes south a little bit, I'm emptying the clip. But my thing is, yo, why is this the first reaction? Yo, New York's happy. This is like, people are just going through the motions. Like you said, they should just, hey, cool out, relax. But now you got cops who are scared about of dogs. So now, I know we don't want to talk about it, but you might have to reform. This might lead to some reform of the cops, because now you got to see, yo, are you scared of dogs? Now you got to see, hey, how do you de-escalate situations? Because this is a de-escalation situation, and they just took it to the max. So I just think like something like this will actually put a bright shine, because, you know, America loves its dogs. So like, yeah, it sucks, but now it could lead to something that could actually really help gun reform in this country. And I feel like it's these little things that kind of change everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing you guys were saying. It's just why are your guns out automatically? Like, they're at the door and they have their guns out. And it's like, dude, like, I have friends that are cops, and I know they don't work in a very violent area, but the most calls, I have friends that are cops, brother-in-law's a cop, I got a lot of cops that I know. 90% of calls at your job are domestic violence calls. All right? This is what's known in every police force. You can't go to every domestic violence call with your guns out. It doesn't make sense. And then you got to know what's happening at that time. The Knicks just won. This is like national news. You got to automatically go into like, oh, maybe the Knicks won. Let's see how it goes. You know what I mean? And that happened to my father when they won, when the Knicks 99, when Larry Johnson hit the 4-point play. He was screaming, and they called the cops on us. And the cops came, and they were just like, oh, this is all right. But I said, oh, Larry Johnson hit the shot. And they're like, we figured that. Have a nice night. And they just left. They didn't say, answer the fucking door. Open the door. Like, the fuck? Like, you can't be doing that. Like, it's just like, and to me on the cops thing, it's like, dude, do you know how much paperwork you have to do when you shoot someone? When you fucking put your gun out? It's a mess. So why are you even doing that? It's a fucking mess. Like, cops hate paperwork. They literally throw it on the rookies, and they'll come back from a job and they'll be like, "Yo, got paperwork here, rookie. You do it." They don't like doing it. That's how bad it is, and you just don't give. You're doing it to yourself, let alone doing it to somebody else. Like, just zero regard to anything. Like, it's just retarded. And to me, and then a dog, like, oh, the dog's here. Oh, try to put a gun. Like, dude, you have pepper spray. Like, you could literally, you know how OCD spray is? Like, my friends talk about it all the time. The OCD spray is like, they don't want it to be used. Once you spray somebody and the wind blows, you get it in your eye. And in the police academy training, the last day, they spray that shit in your eye. Like, you have to go like this, and they spray. And then you got to fight off people while everyone who the cop says, that is the literally worst day of my life. My friend said it felt like his soul left his body and was watching him get OCD sprayed. That's how, he's like, dude, I can't even explain it. He's like, literally, it feels like they're taking little needles and stabbing your eyeball. That's how bad OCD spray. You couldn't spray the dog. You couldn't spray the dog. The dog went and ran away. The dog would have been like, the dog would have went fucking crazy. My friend said one time they locked the guy up. He was cursing him out. He was being drunk, retarded. And he tried to fight the cops. So the cops threw him in a cell, and they just like sprayed the OCD, closed the fucking gate, and ran away. And they said the guy was in there like, fuck you pussies, fuck you pussies. 10 minutes later, he had his face in the toilet trying to fucking get the OCD spray off his face. That's how bad that shit is. I think the pepper spray would have been very effective on the dog. You know what I mean? Like to kill it. And the sad part is that the dog's laying there with a Knicks jersey on. The dog's laying there with a Knicks jersey. Like she was just jumping around with the dog, having fun with the dog. The dog's dead. Laying there with a Knicks jersey on. That's just a bad scheme, dude. It's just like, listen, I'm not a super dog fan. Like, you know, when I see a dog, I'll pet them and okay, cool. But I wouldn't own a dog because it's just like they're dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're probably the only country. There's other countries probably too, but we like, oh, our dog is our family and our children. Where like in other countries, there's stray dogs literally roaming the streets, like 50 deep, and no one gives a fuck. Like no one takes them in. There's no dog pound.
No.
There's no fucking what's that lady? Sharon McLaughlin, the fucking Arms of an Angel. Like there's no song for these dogs. All right, nobody cares. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, in that sense, like I'm not like too like they're gonna like you gotta look at a different view. So like I don't think the police will have a big reform about this. But I think the officer will be reprimanded just to please the people. I don't think he'll get relieved of his duties, but he'll probably be suspended with pay, most likely, which I know people don't want to hear, but it's what's going to happen because in the end, it is a dog. I know it sucks to see it happen. Trust me, I saw it, so I'm like, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have family members that love their dogs like that, and I know, like, to them, they'll be destroyed. And I wouldn't want to see that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, in that sense, it sucks, but let's not get out of control here and start saying, oh, we got to have gun reform with the police. We got to fire the cop. We got to go to his house and burn his house down and
I've seen the
beat his wife up and all type of wild shit they're saying. Like, all right, take it easy. You know
Here's what I will say. I will say that I think it should be changed about how not everybody should be a cop. Like, clearly that guy, if you're scared of a dog, you shouldn't be a cop, in my opinion.
It's hard
you gotta have a
it's hard because to become a cop,
it's strong to be a cop, in my opinion.
Because to become a cop is actually very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of paperwork you have to do is like the package is like 80 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta fill all that out. Then the cops need any kind of charge you ever had, even your motor vehicle charges. They take that into account. They give you a psych test. You know, they put you through 3-4 months of training to see if you do break. Because in that training, they're trying to see if you break. If you break, they release you. Because they're like, you can't handle the job. Because they're in your face the whole time. Like, you're doing push-ups in the mud, and they're like, you fucking pussy, you fucking bitch. Like, they're trying to break you. It's not like they're like, nah. They want you to quit because they want to see if you have it or not. So to me, to go through all that and then to risk your job, like, dude, you know how hard it was for you to become a cop? And you're risking your job? Like, come on, that's just silly, dude. It's a mental lapse. And I think a lot of people do have it. So it's like hard. Like I said, the cops go through all that to see if you could become a cop, if you could handle it. And then when you get in it and you can't handle it, like, dude, you can't call it. You can't. It's hard. You know what I mean? Like, it's very difficult. So it's hard to. It's just hard. And people get put in positions. And trust me, I've been there with friends. Yo, my nigga. Listen, if some shit go down, you know me, dog. I'm there. I've been there. And if a fight breaks out, you see the motherfucker running down the block. You're like, what? What? This guy talked the most shit. You know what I mean? Like, it really. You see people in their truest form when some shit goes down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to call it. Like, it really is hard. I just think what Kofi says, right? Like, they are trained to shoot first.
Yes.
That's what you're trained to do. You know what I mean? In other countries, they aren't. A lot of countries don't even have guns. They have batons only.
Yeah.
You know, they train them hand-to-hand combat and all type of shit to defuse certain things. Mm-hmm. And they have stricter gun laws, too, where there's not guns as actively around America. You gotta remember that too. In America, there's a lot of fucking guns. A lot of people who have guns that are illegal, and people who have guns in states that you could carry, open carry. Yep. This is the society we're in. So they train the cops like, dude, you don't know who has a gun. When you approach a car, they're approaching the car with their hand on their gun. They don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard, dude. It's very hard. I just think this one is a dog. The dog gonna kill you. If you got bit, I mean, really, dude? What would have happened? You would have got some bandages on there and a fucking tetanus shot or where the fuck shot you get,
Yeah.
and you would have went home. I mean, seriously. I mean, it ain't that serious. So, yeah, I think the pulling out the guns thing has to change, which for the most part it has. So I'm surprised that those cops reacted that way because there's been a lot of reforms since Black Lives Matter happened and, the riots happened. It's very strict. You have to wear the body cam all the time now. You're being watched all the time. You really can't do a lot of shit as a cop now. Older cops say it. They're like, man, the rules now are crazy. Like, a lot of older cops are dicks too. They used to probably beat the shit out of people and not have to worry about any kind of cameras. And they're like, dude, it's hard for us to police now because we got to be so careful. You know what I mean? So I just think it sucks, but I have more insight because I have more friends that are cops and family members that are cops. So I have a lot more insight, and they don't handle shit like that. Yeah. I got a friend who's a sergeant, and he doesn't do shit like that. The people under him don't do shit like that. I literally went to his birthday party Friday. There was 10 cops there, all chilling, drinking, having a great time, chill-ass dudes. None of them do that shit. None of them. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I can't just condemn the cops, but it's just that guy's a dick. And even saw the other cops there when the dog was dead. The other cops were sitting there like, man, like, I know they probably went to the cop later like, dude, why'd you do that? Really? Like,
you don't need this type of publicity.
Yeah, not even that. Like, dude, it's a dog.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure somebody told him, like, if you got bit, really? It ain't Cujo now. It ain't a fucking Resident Evil dog. Like, come on. It ain't that serious. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is.
Now, on to the neighbor. Because originally when I read the story, I was like, I was going to criticize it. But then I read she had apology through one of the LA TV stations. So my thoughts on that are like, look, I mean, we hear noise all the time. It's like you didn't have to be you put your hands in a situation that you didn't really need to do. In my opinion, it's like, look, like if you're noise, okay, we hear noise all the time. I live in a complex. Saints, you live in a complex. I know Scumbag, you live in a complex and stuff. We hear noise all the time. Never in a situation where we're like, oh, we gotta call the cops because we hear some noises. We're usually like, all right, something's going on. Let them handle it. If it's something serious, whatever. But to me, it's just
you can tell the difference between real quick. You can tell the difference between someone getting beat up and someone cheering for the team. Like,
yep.
So yeah, go finish, Kofi.
Yeah, she's like this neighbor said that I didn't know that the police would come and do that and all that stuff, and how she feels terrible that all the reactions she's gotten from not she, I don't know who this person is, but the reaction this person has gotten from social media and all that stuff. It's like my whole thing when I read all that, I'm like, you didn't even apologize to the lady herself. You just went on some TV station, and honestly, you didn't even show your face, by the way. So we don't know how you look like, by the way. And say, oh, I'm so sorry for the dog and Marie and all that. But you didn't even apologize to her directly. So, first of all, on that alone, that tells me that you're not apologizing. You're not really sincerely apologizing because you feel sorry. You're apologizing because of the reaction that you got. Now that's why you apologize. You're not apologizing because you're sincere about it. You're apologizing because hey, this was what happened. What happened? Obviously, the dog dying. That's what you're apologizing for. You're apologizing for what happened, not because you called and it led to this. And she's and this person said, maybe I shouldn't press the LAPD. I mean, maybe I shouldn't call as much. Obviously, you shouldn't call in the first place. So what are you talking about? You should have never called in the first place. I'm pretty sure there's either security or an official within the complex. If you were that concerned, you should have told them. Then they could have figured out what was going on, and then the cops wouldn't have been in the situation. But instead, now, call the cops, and let's be honest. We know cops don't necessarily de-escalate situations. Sometimes they make it worse. And unfortunately, this was a situation where they made it worse. So my thoughts are, look, lady, I mean, whoever this person is, if you're really sincere about your regret, you should have went to Marie, face to face, said, "Hey, I'm sorry." And if she cursed you out, a fight your face out, she sued, you deserve it. But instead, you took the coward's way out. You, I'm gonna just talk to the police, the TV station anonymously, not even with your face out, so everybody can see you're the person, you're the real reason. Imagine you criticize the cop, and obviously the cop deserves criticism. The real person that should get blamed here is that person, that neighbor called in. Like, what are you doing, by the way? If you hear noise, if it's that annoying, just walk away, or go out and just or just take it for however long it was gonna take. You didn't have to call the cops. The cops were not needed in the situation. It just wasn't needed. So for that neighbor, you should feel shame for the rest of your life, because now this Marie lady lost a lifelong friend.
Yep.
And we all know pets are only here for a finite amount of time. So for this dog to pass away from this circumstance, it's something that's gonna haunt that lady forever. So for that neighbor, you should be ashamed of yourself, because you didn't really do all that. The cops were not needed in a situation like this. They just weren't.
I'll go. Yeah, this is just I'm looking at all the vitriol that's going towards the cop. So let me kind of stay out of this. I don't really like this. Like, yeah, the cop shot, but like once again, like Chris says, cops are told that's what they have to do. Like, they probably, because you don't know if they say, hey, put the dog away or do that type of stuff, and the dog came out. Like, I have a lot of friends that are cops. Like, I got my cousin's a cop. He's talking to me about the situation. He's like, yo, we don't know how everyone says their dog is friendly, but not everyone's dog's friendly. But that's neither here nor there. It's the neighbor's fault to 100%, because now she started this, and now a cop is getting threatened. They're talking about hanging this man, and I'm like, and you saw all this and went, nah, I don't want to be part of this. I'm just gonna do this little anonymous apology. And it's like, yo, my thing is, yo, you did the deed, you gotta take the fall. And she's just whoever it is doesn't want it, and I can't respect that, because now this man's about to lose his job. This man is out here being strung along, being criticized over everything, when he wasn't the one who made the call. All he was doing was responding to your call. You're at fault on this. So nah, that neighbor, she knows she deserves a New York style beatdown. Whoever that person is.
All right.
Now, Scumbag, any thoughts on the neighbor, or are you good?
Fuck her.
That's
all I
it.
gotta say about her.
Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, our last topic, obviously, is Father's Day, and we have a father in this as one of our hosts, obviously Scumbag McGee. We already gave our happy Father's Day to you, but we'll let you talk about it. Obviously, you have the most experience out of all of us as a father, so obviously, and you talk about your son all the time about how you're getting him sports and all that stuff. So obviously, you had a great impact on him. So I say, hey, you've done a great job as a father. So this is your day. So
yeah, shout out to all the fathers. I'm spending my Father's Day with my niece right here. Say hi. That's my niece. I'm with her today, so I had to end do the part early today. But yeah, man. I don't know how anybody's a deadbeat dad. It's just, come on, man. You gotta be in your kid's life, man. You have to. They didn't ask to be here, and I've met kids who have daddy issues when their dads aren't around, and it's not good, man. So I just want to shout out all the fathers out there that actually put the time in the effort. You know what I mean? To make sure their kids are great adults, great contributors to society, It's not easy. Trust me. Go through a lot. Maybe here watching my niece right now for my sister. Her dad right now is working on Father's Day, doing a double shift right now. So I helped them out as much as I can because I know it's not easy. So, hey, man. That's it, man. Shout out to all the fathers, man. I appreciate y'all showing me love this morning, saying Happy Father's Day. And that's about it, man. I gotta start getting ready to go, man. I got plans. You see her.
Let me go real quick. Let me go real quick, Cole,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo, shout out to the fathers. My dad's not even in the country. I sent him some love. But once again, like I always say, this day is about fathers. Single moms, keep y'all bald-headed selves out of this. This day ain't about y'all. I don't want to hear no Happy Father's Day to no mother. You are not a father. Let these motherfuckers have their goddamn day. I don't want to hear, oh, I took two, bro. Shut up. You're not a dad, and trust and believe. As someone who works in the education system, you see a difference between sometimes parents, especially boys who are raised by single moms. Sometimes they don't have that discipline, and it's not there. And I'm sorry. Sometimes that mom can't replace that, and it sucks. I'm not saying she's not doing a good job, but there is a fundamental thing that sometimes fathers can do for their sons or daughters. It is not about you. If you want to say Happy Father's Day to the moms after today, I'm with you. Go right ahead. But let Father's Day have their Father's Day. We don't say Happy Mother's Day to single dads. Don't say Happy Father's Day to single moms. Don't do it. Let's just everyone had a day, and let's go on about this, man. Too many goddamn single moms making this shit about them goddamn selves. Go punch someone.
I guess that ends the pod there. But yeah. Go ahead,
I
Kobe.
don't know how to follow that up, so I'm just gonna say, yeah.
But yeah, yo, appreciate
All right,
y'all.
it was good to be back. Obviously, I had some technical issues with my laptop earlier, so I get used to doing these pods again, but it was fun to do it. So once again, happy Father's Day to Scumbag and all the fathers, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, good to have Kofi back on the show, so he'll definitely be here next week, right?
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Yo, we'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.
All right, take care.